Evening to people out there on the World Wide Web. And here we are again with another OMD fan interview. And I'm tonight joined by a guy called John. And we're going to get an introduction very shortly. So if you are watching this, if you could let me know if you're getting any feedback or any echo, and we may need to sort of mute our mics as we communicate. But all being well, tonight's feed should be okay. It's just one fan tonight. So, John, fantastic for you to have taken the bullet and to have volunteered to come forward to join this series of fan interviews that we've been doing over the last few weeks. I've got one more to do this week, then I'm taking a break. John, do you want to do a little bit of an introduction, give your full name, a little bit about you, where you are, and your OMD story?
Okay, so my name's John Irelan-Hill. I'm 57 years old. I first got into OMD in 1984. I got into OMD because I went to see them in the Junk Culture Tour and absolutely adored it, especially when they played Hard Day, which was my best tune off the Junk Culture album. Now, I'm originally from Brighton. I have a property in Huddersfield in the UK, but I actually live in Munich. Well, Erding really, but it's 30 kilometers outside Munich, and it's easy to say Munich. So I'm highly musically orientated. And in this room, there is a 5.1 setup because I love listening to music in 5.1. It just surrounds me and my head loves it. And I have a bit of tinnitus, and my tinnitus is because when between the ages of 16 and 21, I went around with a Sony Walkman on my ears playing War of the Worlds continuously. So, that's basically me.
Fantastic album, War of the Worlds. Twin LPs. Up in my attic. You must have that somewhere to hand. It's an amazing album. That's the one, the box set.
No, that's the SACD box set. But that's
Wow.
That's not the point of this. But the point is, I love everything that's 5.1. And I buy records or Super Audio CDs in 5.1 for bands that I don't even like, because they sound so much better in 5.1.
So let's drift this on to a little bit of OMD then. We'll talk about formats. So in sort of fairly recent years, there's been the revival of vinyl, and OMD they've done some bizarre things. They've released flexi disc with messages on. They've had 7-inch vinyls and obviously a variety of 12-inch vinyls. Have you been buying any of the OMD vinyl stuff that's been released?
Yes and no, Neil, and I'll tell you why. Because the one important thing for me is supporting local business. And, I really prefer to go into a record shop, whether in Huddersfield in the UK or somewhere around here in Munich, and buy it from them. Because without record shops, we have a huge problem. It's, to me, it's like everything in this world now. Yeah. Let me give you an example. 3 years ago, I wanted to buy a specific laptop. So I went into PC World in the UK and walked in and said, "Hello, I'd like to buy this." And they said, "Oh, we can order that for you. You can have it in 2 days' time." I don't want it in 2 days' time. I want it today. But on the other hand, I want to support local business. It is so important. Without local, me and you are from a generation where 30 years ago, we'd go into Virgin Megastore, Our Price, HMV, and we'd go through their records and everything like that and buy things. Now, you don't get that opportunity as much. And I hate that. It's not what I want, and for me, a lot of the recent stuff, living here in Germany, it's been a bit more difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I have that. Hold on. And of course, for some of you out there, hold on, which one is? Oh, look, hold on. Let's bring all three out. And this is the point for me. Look, there you go. Oh, we know which one that one is. Oh, we know which one that one is. And oh no, that's Frankenstein's right, I think. And Sugar Tax is here somewhere as well. There it is, Sugar Tax. And the point is that when I'm buying something, I don't just want to support OMD. I certainly want to support OMD. There's no question of that. And I would never buy anything from anywhere that I did not know for certain that OMD would benefit from.
That's good.
And there's so many things like that. I mean, if you take one of my other collection loves, it's Pink Floyd t-shirts. I have like over 200 Pink Floyd t-shirts.
Wow.
But every one of them, I check that on the bottom, it either says copyright Pink Floyd music, copyright Pink Floyd music 1984, or copyright Tim Blue. Because all three of those I know that the band that I originally wanted to support is getting money from them. And that's so important. In this modern world, I mean, the great thing about things like that, and that, and that, and hold on, what we got? And of course, now we come to the modern albums. That, the yellow vinyl, and that. Most of those I had to buy from the website. Yeah, because the option of going into a record shop in Munich, and I know where there's 5 or 6 or 7 record shops, and for me, there's two sides to this. Yeah, yes, I want to support OMD, but in the process of supporting OMD, I also want to support local record shops so that I can go in on a weekly basis, browse through what they've got, and find something new. And in this modern world,
yeah, I'm just going to bring in a quick comment from Robert Reed, who always comes to join us. And Robert's saying hello. So, yeah, thanks, Robert, for joining us again. And I've also got, just let me pull this one on screen. Yeah. So, yeah, who's just commenting. So I always like to say hello. So, yeah, so it is interesting. So I'm not too sure whether you're aware last year, John, that HMV actually produced a limited edition first album. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, I have a son in the UK who is under strict orders. Do not leave HMV without that record. Because hold on, I mean, I have. And this is what I love about my life. Yeah, I can go here, and okay, first album. Yes, it is. First album. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm doing that the wrong way around. First album, first album, first album, first album original, first album original, first album original. Oh, and first album. Oh, Japanese import.
Yeah.
But the point for me is all these records came from a record shop in the centre of Huddersfield or Brighton. And to me, it's so important. Yeah, people in this world don't realise the importance of their local shops.
No. So so tell me something, John. So obviously you're living in Germany. How long have you been living in Germany for?
18 years.
18 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So the 20 years before those 18 years, you're going back into the early 80s. So how on earth did you sort of get into OMD? How did OMD come on your radar?
Okay. Well, I said earlier, but basically for me, I wasn't into OMD at the start. In fact, when I was 13, I went to London and saw Jesus Christ Superstar in concert and absolutely adored it. I'd just gone through a period where I'd been going to the Salvation Army Sunday school and arguing with the teacher there about things she was saying about the Bible. I said, well, how's that possible? Blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so I got into things like Jesus Christ Superstar, Godspell, and Joseph, Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. But then in 1984, I was with a friend called Ian Broughton. We had an evening in Brighton, and we were in the centre of town, and we had nothing to do. And it was like, anything on in Brighton tonight? And then we found OMD were playing at the Dome. So we went and watched it. And I absolutely loved it. I loved the way they play live. You know, and even back in 84, they had a really great sound. So for me, you know, I basically, from that point onwards, my girlfriend at the time, her orders were any birthday, Christmas, Valentine present had to be something from OMD that I didn't have. And the amount of times that we were in a pub called The Feathers in Brighton, opposite where I used to work, and my birthday, Valentine's Day, or whatever, she'd turn up and she'd been into HMV Virgin, which our price I don't think was around at the time, and she bought me something else from OMD that she knew I didn't have. So, you know, so that was the origin. And then I spent the next, well, even up to this day, you know, wherever I was in the world, I'd go looking for what is available. And, you know, I have been really lucky because, you know, I picked up the original Electricity Fact 6 in a record fair in Brighton in 1987 for about £18 or something. You know, but ultimately, you know, I have simply spent my whole life getting together every Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark record, CD, cassette, you know, and I even go further. Look, I mean, I got a couple of specials here. Okay, some people know about that one. Yes. Oh, what about these three? Hold on. 1, 2, 3. I mean, they're mini discs, but the great thing about mini disc is that the sound quality is better than CD. You know, and I got into these quite early, and you can see, you know, you've got your original Sugar Tax, you've got the original Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark best of, and you've got the OMD singles. And then on top of that, look, something that most people probably haven't seen. This is a digital compact cassette. It's just like a normal cassette, but it's digital. You know, and unfortunately for me, and in my role in computing, do you remember in the old days when they brought out CDs, and CDs came out either as AAD, ADD, or DDD, and everybody told us that DDD was better than AAD. They were lying. Because the difference between digital and analog is the digital is based on a certain number of samples per second. With analog, there is no sample rate. It is continuous. And the easiest way I can explain that for anybody is that if you look at a film from the 1940s or 50s or 60s or 70s that was filmed on film, film is analog. It does not have a certain set of dots going across and down the page. Yeah. So for me, you know, I never got away from LPs because LPs are analog, and what I find people do now is they take a digital recording and they use it to create a record. Well, but the thing is, it depends whether the original digital recording is there's something I think now called FLAC. Yeah. I haven't got into it deeply. I don't really care. Yeah. But if you have a digital recording that is FLAC, there is no loss of sound quality. It records the whole sound spectrum, you know, I mean, the easiest way I can take it is that, if you take artists like Alison Moyet, Sade, Hazel O'Connors, and so on, with them, the big problem is that when you put them on CD, you cut off the top and the bottom. So you're listening to something on CD from an artist that you like, and it's dead. It doesn't have the vibrancy that it needs. And all the OMD vinyl albums provide that all the way through. So for me, it's very much my ears are, where I want to be, if you see what I mean. I just love to sit back here with all these speakers around me and hear everything I can. So.
Okay, I'm just going to give another quick shout out to Robert Reed, who's just made a comment. So,
Yeah.
But Robert's becoming a bit of an avid collector. Now you've shown him things, I think Robert is now going to go on the prowl to find some of your mini disc items. And I've also got another comment. Now then, how would you pronounce that name, John?
My name?
Well, no, this one that's on the screen, Wahard SWFC. He's commenting that he's mentioning Bunker Soldiers. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, I can.
So that's something on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's because he's a Sheffield Wednesday Football Club supporter. Hey? Wow.
Yeah. Okay, right. Let's.
I did see the comment, and I'm going to be a bit controversial here, Neil, because I did see the comment from Robert Reed about OMD, Johnny Walker, or Pink Floyd. Now, I'm going to be a little bit controversial here because I've always said that I love music in 5.1. And the great thing that Pink Floyd did is they got David Guthrie, it's something like that, basically to take all their original works and make them 5.1. And I mean, if I take my three latest OMD, these three, of which History and Modern is probably my favorite recent LP. I absolutely adore this. The quality is brilliant. Okay, this one is brilliant apart from one track. And the only track I don't like on this is Punishment and Luxury. Sorry, right? But my point is, each one of these has a DVD in it. And it's a complete waste of time. I mean, this one, it goes through each individual track, but it doesn't go through each individual track. You have to press play on the next one to get through. And the track's not there. It's just a little talk about the track. There's no play all button. But, Pink Floyd, I mean, unrelated, but, I have all three of these. And the 5.1 quality of these is absolutely stunning. And you can just sit there and, I mean, I'm lucky that the DVD player that I've got down here is a 5.1 amplifier. And it has programs on it like a hall in Munich, a Vienna concert hall and things like that. And the great thing about that is a lot of the times I play my OMD albums through that, and it sort of changes the sound. So it's like it would have been in a concert hall in Vienna. And that is beautiful because, I mean, I can sit here and play something, turn that way, and I'm still hearing brilliant sound. Turn that way, I'm still hearing brilliant sound and so on. And it's the only thing that disappoints me about OMD. They never got into super audio CDs. And maybe, I don't really want to say this, but maybe their fan base wasn't big enough for whoever is the money counter or the bean counter behind them to say, hey, you can't do that because it'll cost £20,000 and you won't make your money back. But so many people, and I'm in so many groups on Facebook. Mini discs are always higher quality than CD because the 8-track format used on mini discs, it basically has a higher sample rate and a higher range. So when you play mini disc, and I have Sade on mini disc, Alison Moyet on mini disc, they sound so much better than on CD. But ultimately, it's for me, it's the quality of the sound coming in my ears. And I mean, up there, I have the complete Genesis in 5.1. And I originally bought the original Genesis because they come out as Japanese imports, and I bought 5, which I liked. And then I was somewhere where the shop was shutting down, and they had the other 13 albums at like less than half price. I thought, okay, well, I'll buy the lot. And I mean, I was lucky. I was in Belgium at the time. But for me, the whole point of listening to music is to hear the quality of it.
So I've just got a comment from Robert. So I told you he would now go off prowling looking for these items you've been displaying, and I've now got what WAWAW? We're all Wednesday, aren't we? And he says he's listening
No,
in whilst he's in Luxembourg.
no, I'm Brighton and Hove Albion. They're currently playing on the TV, but it's recording on my German Skybox. And when I finish this interview, I will be putting on, or I'll put it on in the morning because I do that sometimes. And hopefully we can get a point against Chelsea.
So, John, let's just go back to this sort of pre-digital formats, because I'm guessing, when did Minidisc come out? That's sort of towards the end of the
93, 94, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit earlier than that. So let's just go
I
right back to the days of vinyl and vinyls and cassettes. I'm just like, what I can't see what that is.
It's a mini disc player.
Oh, right, okay.
I can't have mini discs without having a player to play them. Yeah, but anyway, go back.
But back in those early days, even before CD came out, how did you cope with the quality of traditional vinyl?
Right. Now,
So people used to have very cheap record players, and then obviously we had very high quality hi-fis. So
yeah.
let me see what you did with this.
Right. Okay. Now I have two. I have two things on that, Neil. I have a lot of vinyl. Right. A lot of my vinyl is old, and sometimes when you have an old style record player like this with a rubbishy stylus, yeah, you get all the crackles and everything like that. But that's how you used to listen to it. Now, for me, because I have so many copies of different OMD albums, I'm quite happy to play some of them on this. Yeah? But others, I won't let go anywhere near this. For the simple reason that it will destroy the record. And I understand that. For me, sometimes when I'm playing a certain vinyl, I will play it on this. It'll have the crackles and it'll sound slightly dull and things like that. But that's how I used to listen to it in 1984. Yeah? But then for the rest of the stuff, I have this one up here. And this one up here has a really nice stylus and plays much better quality. And then not only that, and I have this beautiful little thing. It's a speaker, but it has a subwoofer built in. And it's battery operated, so I can sit it down on the ground, press the on button, it'll connect to the record player and play it. And for me, it's a horses for courses thing, yeah. And if you take things like the Little Blue single, you wouldn't really want to play that on an old record player anymore, because the point is, my understanding with acetate is if you play a record 30 times, that's it. It won't last any longer. But more modern records, and especially when you look at the 180 gram, they're heavier, yeah. But did they put the grooves any deeper? And to take you beyond that, I mean, Hold on, are they in here? No, oh, they must be in there. I have the whole Pink Floyd collection on picture disc. The problem with picture disc is that to get the picture onto the disc, they actually use an acetate with the picture, and then they put the vinyl around it. But because the acetate is there, they use less vinyl, and that means that the quality of the vinyl is lower. Yeah, because it's thinner. So, and I have the Pink Floyd LPs, and I rarely ever play them because they're just not worth playing because they crackle from day one. And to me, there's nothing wrong with crackling. Yeah, it happens. It's analog. You will get crackle with analog, and sometimes you get that little going back to the previous track, or the previous groove of this track, and then you stick a penny on it and hope that it doesn't jump over it again. But I've said quite often that I never use streaming services. The only streaming service I use is YouTube, and that's only when I'm investigating a group that I may want to buy a record of. And I simply, I have a free subscription with Apple iTunes. Never used it. Never want to.
It's quite interesting with some of your comments, John. So in a recent interview I did with Andy, he was commenting about the reissues of vinyl, and I don't know the technicalities, but the cuts are deeper, and obviously the quality of the vinyl produced now is a lot better than it was then. He also was mentioning that there is possibly going to be some reissue vinyls of, and you were proudly displaying Universal Liberator, so that's going to be good. But with streaming services, one thing, and funny enough, I've been listening all morning, is I'm a big lover of I don't know whether you've heard of this in Germany, something called Bandcamp. Are you into Bandcamp at all?
I've seen Bandcamp, but isn't it a lot of groups? And I'm getting to an age in my life where I know what I like listening to. And for example, one of my favorite pleasures is on a Saturday, if I'm not watching football, dance, or something like that, switch the TV off, get all my OMD singles or my Pink Floyd singles, and play them one after the other, and just enjoy the whole thing. And unfortunately, there's one band that doesn't come out well in my collection, and that's Queen, because I have the Queen gold box set with 20 CDs inside it, and it was like I spent a lot of time in Andy's records trying to convince them to sell it to me for 400 quid when it was 500 quid. And then I went in there about 3 weeks before they closed down. Okay, I gave up. I'll pay 500 quid. But I rarely ever play them. And, it's probably because, I don't have them on album. And my first choice for playing something like that is on album. So they lose out, and it's it's unfair of me, but the point is I can spend all day listening to OMD and enjoy the whole lot. And in fact, the other weekend I listened to all my OMD singles probably for the first time. And what really surprised me was these two, which I'd never played. And the great thing was they're 45 minutes long. And sometimes I see extended remixes and I'm like, no. They're nice, but sometimes I'm just an old-fashioned guy that wants to listen to the LP the original way OMD wanted it to be played. And no funny, I did try, One of my favourite tracks from Punishment and Luxury is The View from Here and Precision and Decay. And I really love like a 20-minute version of Precision and Decay. And I did try listening to it on YouTube, but all it was taking the same bars, rearranging them, and putting them back together again. And it's like, no, that's not what I want. If you take some of the early, you take a lot of the earlier OMD singles, I absolutely adored things like Once When I Was Six. You have been listening to it, for me, a lot of it with OMD is the vocals, and there's a few of Paul's vocals that I like, but when you take Andy and his vocals on International, Stanlow, and things like that, I just love his range of vocals, me. I am a fan of doing things like karaoke, but not Andrew McCluskey. He has a higher vocal range than I do. Me, if I'm doing vocals, probably my best karaoke is Leonard Cohen on I've forgotten the name of it now. Hallelujah, right? Or Michael Stipe, Losing My Religion. But for me, I love the way Andrew can go from the left-hand range of the vocals to the right-hand range of the vocals. It just, blows my mind, And I'm still trying, even though I've been in Germany 18 years, I'm still trying to understand what the German commentator says in International, because it fades out near the end. And, and for me, it's like, I've lost that one, So, but yeah, for me, there is no greater pleasure than taking a whole sequence of albums and listening to them in one go without any interference.
Completely away from OMD a second. I'm a huge, massive fan of a guy called Stephen Jones. He had a group called Baby Bird. He had a one-hit wonder called You're Gorgeous. And that one song destroyed his career, absolutely destroyed his career. It's all about pornography, and people sing You're Gorgeous at weddings and all the rest of it.
I'll do anything for you. Yeah.
You know it. And it is not... Okay, Stephen Jones is one of the most... but he now is on Bandcamp, and I am really happy to support Stephen Jones. And I've actually now become a friend of his. He actually lives down the road from me. But what he's doing now on Bandcamp, as well as releasing stuff digitally, he's managing to put things on CD. And I'll just show you this. I don't know whether you can see this. So when he sends things to me, he puts like a little picture of a caravan on, because I knows I'm living in a caravan. And then everything he does is actually personalized. So yeah, interesting how people can diverge. I've got that as well.
My first T-shirt, hey? Come on. I am absolutely. I am just like a squirrel. And unfortunately, this has never fitted my head.
I've got that as well.
It is maddening. I have a suitcase down here that has all my OMD stuff in it. I refuse. If you think the fact that I moved from a big house in Huddersfield over here, and on top of that, I now have an apartment in Huddersfield, but all my OMD stuff came with me. Yeah, because I was like, no, I'm not going to, let it get separated. And I know there is some OMD stuff still in Great Britain, but I'm not sure what and where it is. But ultimately, and one thing I plan to do soon on Facebook is I found out that I have 2 copies of something. Oh, you go. There we go. And if you look at these, This is volume 2. Yeah? Now, I have 2 copies of this, and soon you will find that I put these on Facebook, and like a lot of things I do, I am not in my life to make money out of it. I mean, I've made a reasonable amount of money, and I mean, if you look at all that whiskey, I probably bought it at between 100 to 150 pounds a bottle, and a lot of it now, the bottles are worth 500 pounds or 1,000. Right? Well, these 3, I'm planning to put on Facebook soon, and whoever donates the most to charity will get all 3. Yeah, they are the volume 2 newsletters from October 1986, January 1987, and June 1987 and January 1988. And for me, I have never been in this life to make money out of it. I've made money out of what I do for a living, which is being a computer consultant on high performance systems. But ultimately, for me, it's much easier, to sort of turn around and say, well, okay, somebody make a donation to charity, and I'll send them free. And I did that recently with 6 empty bottles of Johnny Walker, which is a bit of a surprise. But even when those bottles are empty, they're worth money because there aren't many of them. And basically, I got contacted via Facebook from someone in the US who asked if anybody had any bottles going. And I said, well, look, I've got about 10 bottles. And basically, he donated $100 to the Salvation Army in Boston and paid 57 euros to have 6 bottles sent via post from Germany to the US. And for me, that was perfect. Yeah. Now, I don't need to make money out of OMD. I mean, for me, it's just nice that someone else can have the pleasure of these 3.
Now that's really, really kind. And as I say, if you checks out my history over the years, I'm not too sure how. I have no idea how much we've raised charity wise, and obviously Andy is has always been really generous. So it was very bizarre last June when we were in the height of the pandemic, and I went home from a campsite I was at, and then Andy kindly donated his stage wardrobe, his old stage wardrobe, and I ended up coming back with a car full of stuff. And he looked like I'd been to a charity shop. So I've got Andy shirts and trousers and bags of Nike boots and things. But I just want to come on to something really, really, really serious, John. Just for one moment, for any OMD fans out there. There is a scam going around. I've seen it on OMD Facebook groups, and this scam emerged a couple of days ago on the OMD fan Facebook group that myself, Auntie Amanda's, and Dave look after. And what people are doing is they're registering what appears to be a legitimate account. They'll put a photograph up of Andy McCluskey or Andy and Paul. People like, and then what they're then doing is swapping that photograph for a snide, what we call snide, a fake T-shirt, and then going reply if you want one of these. We've now picked up on this scam and how these people work. I saw on one OMD Facebook group where this happened, and obviously that Facebook group isn't being monitored like we're monitoring. And I am absolutely convinced that everybody that's gone and bought one of those fake T-shirts will not see the T-shirt, and you won't get a refund. So always be so careful where you're buying things from. And apparently this scam with people registering accounts, changing images and changing messages is rife amongst other band groups. So anybody watching this, really be careful. Robert, I know you fell victim to this. I hope you can try and get your money back, and I hope some item reaches you. I fear that's not going to happen. but it's absolutely horrible. But we actually watched this happen before our eyes. We physically saw this account, and we watched it happen. So yeah, so just putting that message out. Anybody watching this, please, please, please be careful. Right, John. I normally keep these about 30 minutes and less, and we're way over that. And you said we'd have a good chat, and you were right, which is great. I'm going to sort of try and wind down onto
Yeah.
sort of a little bit of an off topic, and I'm going to talk alcohol because you cracked open a beer, I got a beer here, and you're obviously a whiskey connoisseur. So I love Germany. I absolutely love Germany. I love the people. I love everything about Germany, and I've not been to Germany for 15 years, something like that, and I'm hoping to go back to Cologne in November, maybe December, if everything's open. And I have a beer called Kolsch. It's a local produced beer called
I know
Kolsch.
it. Yeah.
And I love Kolsch. We can get Kolsch in England as an import. So
Ah.
tell me, John, what do you miss in Germany that you used to be able to get hold of in England? I miss Kolsch from Germany.
Any English beer. You cannot buy English beer in Germany. It is absolutely shocking. I hate it. It is unfair that you can buy so many German beers in the UK, but you cannot buy an English beer in Germany because it doesn't conform to the German brewing laws. And I've hated that ever since I come here. And okay, and take that a little bit further because I'm a lager drinker, not really a beer drinker. My wife's a beer drinker, but favorite lagers: Stella Artois, Kronenberg 1664. Neither of which are British, but they are the predominant lagers available in England. Yeah. The only way you can buy one of those over here is in 5 litre cans. And I hate the fact that you can't buy a British beer in Germany. And it's just not visible unless you actually live in Germany and you think, oh, I know, I'd like a few cans of, what's the one that my wife loves? Oh, I've forgotten the name now, but it's a bitter. No, but Germans have, this is the whole thing about the EU, yeah? It's an open market. But German laws regarding the brewing of beer override that. I know Kolsch. I know it's from up north, and it's the one that normally you have a schnit where they put glass under, go done. But ultimately for me, I just hate the fact that I cannot, and even British ciders are almost impossible to find in Germany. And I strongly believe that the British government should turn around the Germans. Sorry, if you're not going to allow us to import our beer to you, you can't import your beer to us.
No, because you deny me of Kolsch then. Stop.
Well, yeah, but you understand my point, Neil. I'm a British man living in Germany, and I can't buy any British beers.
Yeah, I'm
And the
very
only
lucky.
lager you can get in Germany is Hop 13, which is Irish.
Yeah,
You can, Tennants. Oh, no. They fall back on their 14th century law that says beer can only be water, hops, yeast, and whatever. And if it has anything else than that, it's not allowed to be imported to Germany.
we're on madness.
Well, yeah, but it's been madness ever since the Great Britain joined the EU.
Well, that's now we're out. So let's see what
No,
happens.
but it still counts. We have ingredients in our beers that are not allowed in Germany. There's no consumer choice. It's a bit like AstraZeneca. Yeah? I'm still waiting for a vaccine over here. I'm 57. I would love to have AstraZeneca. But German doctors say, oh no, you're under 60. You can't have AstraZeneca. And it's like, sorry? Don't I get a say in this? But anyway, that's a separate grumps. You know? Yeah. But
Well,
anyway.
we will have to have a complete non-OMD conversation about things like that, because living in Wales has got its own NHS service compared to England, and I'm
Oh yeah.
English, and all my NHS records aren't looked at by NHS Wales, but we won't go there. We will not go to, even in the UK. It is a
Yeah.
divided nation. John,
Mate,
we're gonna wrap it up. It's been an amazing 45 minutes we've had together.
I knew
Uh,
it would.
yeah, absolutely brilliant to see you, and fantastic for the chat. People watching now or into the future, because obviously, they'll be able to watch it again. Thanks ever so much for watching. Do you want to give people a fond farewell, John?
Yeah, hey, keep on listening to OMD. Hey, they're one. I mean, the point is, they're a British group, they're an English group, and they're brilliant. So advertise the hell out of them. Because that's what I've done all my life. I've advertised anything British all the time I've been in Europe. All right?
Your enthusiasm shines. You're a credit to the band. Everybody
Yeah,
out there, I'm going to stop the stream now. Thanks ever. If you stay online a second, John, I'll say a proper goodbye to you. But I'm
yeah,
going to stop the stream now. And amazing, everybody, for watching. Thanks ever so much, John. And
yeah,
tune in
yeah.
next time. We've got another live coming up on Thursday this week. See you
Uh,
all.